Hey everybody and welcome to TalkChain. Today we're going to talk about De Beers starting their own blockchain to authenticate their diamonds. We're also going to get into China unbanning ICOs and letting them finally come back into the market. And the last thing we're going to talk about is the NEM hack in Japan. Rob, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Looking at the market, seeing a lot of red. Not too disappointed about that, but, still feeling good. NEM down about 14%.
Down about 14%. It's
I
kind of
wonder why.
devastating.
Do you know
Yeah,
why?
well, the coin check hack brought it really brought it to a halt. It's kind of unfortunate because I don't think NEM really had anything to do with it. I wonder why. Do you know why NEM was targeted?
No, and I think they found a vulnerability actually in coin
Coin
check.
check.
Forgive me, everybody from Japan who's watching. I think they just found a vulnerability in coin check itself because it seems like NEM had nothing to do with this. The CEO of CoinCheck himself said that it's all on CoinCheck, that they have multi-signature smart contracts that weren't being used by CoinCheck, and that this might be why they were hacked and why they were able to get away with it.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Like this is $400 million worth of people's money that just kind of disappeared. Um, it's it's interesting because this is what I thought the blockchain was for, was to be able to track all of these different transactions. So like you ideally you would have them all on an exchange and in people's accounts under their address, and it would be transferred over to somebody else's address and then eventually converted into fiat. I just thought that that would make it traceable in some fashion.
Yeah, and you would think so, but do you remember when the big Bitcoin hack went on and like you could see the transactions where they took it, but I don't know if anything actually came of that. And I think it's possible to track a lot of this, but if you're really good, and I don't know enough about the tech to actually get into it, but it seems like in some instances all you have is an address, and that doesn't necessarily lead to a name. But if you see the address in the future, then you could probably like elucidate something from that, but I'm not entirely sure, and it does seem like a lot of these hacks aren't nobody's brought to justice when it comes to this.
Yeah, no, it hasn't happened yet. I don't think with any of these kind of massive hacks. But this could be the one. You never know. You don't mess with the Japanese, Matt.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't, and it's interesting, yeah, cause why was NEM the only one impacted? That's sort of curious. I wonder if it was something particular about the tech that they knew, or some sort of something about the exchange with regards to the tech of NEM, and maybe it is just that smart contract multi-sig thing.
Yeah, it could be also maybe an inside job.
Oh, do you really
You
think so?
never know. You never know.
Damn.
It would be interesting because I don't know. You got people working on the exchange who know how to work the exchange.
Yeah, I guess so. And people always sort of think about that, or they consider that. Like even when the Nice Hash hack went on, people sort of thought
Right.
that it might be an inside job, and maybe it is. Who knows? This is we're in uncharted territory, right, Rob?
Yeah, biggest one yet. I'm sure there will be bigger ones, and again, it's one of those reasons that people advocate for cold storage.
Mm.
So make sure that you safely secure your crypto.
Yeah. How many coins do you have on your cold storage, Rob?
I don't own any cold storage because I'm too busy chasing pumps, but
Oh, right, right.
it would make sense from a person who cared about securing their crypto, especially if they have large amounts of money. Mine is more considered play money for me, only $10 million worth.
Yeah, sure.
It's well, based on a Blockfolio error, I was actually a millionaire for a very short period of time today. It felt pretty nice. I quit my job and then it came back to reality.
Right, right. So you're not actually a millionaire.
Now, well, I was momentarily when somebody made an incorrect trade on Ether Delta
Right.
for a Bloom token ICO that I was involved in.
Oh,
And momentarily, it was worth about $12,000. And about half an hour later, that was kind of corrected.
damn. That's very unfortunate. I'm sorry for your fake wins
Yeah,
and real
yeah.
loss.
Well, it's interesting to know how the 1% feels, though. It feels great.
I bet it does. So I'm waiting to get my Nano Ledger S in the mail, and I'm going to I'm going to put some of my buy and hold tokens on that, and just not bother with it. So it's definitely it's hard for us to know how well secured these exchanges are. Obviously, nobody could have seen this coming. I have no idea how secure Binance is. Coinbase seems to be, they have to undergo more regulation than exchanges like than Binance. So the fiat on ramp exchanges seem to be a little better, but at the end of the day, we don't know how good the hackers are when it comes to this stuff. So if you really want to protect yourself, definitely get some cold storage, and also diversify where your coins are. So don't put all your coins on one cold storage device. You can use like uh, what do they call those apps that you put on the desktop? So there's wallets that you can get that just connect through your desktop and use those. Those work great too. I have Exodus and I have some coins on that.
Interesting. Yeah, because I can't waste my time with those. In order to chase my pumps, there's no reason for me to have any of that. Everything's on Binance and KuCoin and Mercadox and BitGrail. Well, actually, no longer BitGrail because that got weird. But
Yeah, we hate BitGrail, right, Rob?
well, we hate the BitGrail founder.
Right.
Seemed like an okay exchange for a while, and he got real weird, threatening people on Reddit. So
Sure. Yeah, well, there you go. So if you're going to do a lot of day trading, then don't bother with cold storage. That's what we learned from Rob today.
well, yeah, make sure you keep some that you're holding on cold storage,
But
which I should do, but have not done. Do as I say, not as I do is the motto here, I think.
sure. All right. So,
Do as Matt says, not as
well,
Rob does.
right. Thanks, Rob. So, related to that is let's get into this De Beers story. So, De Beers came out today and announced that they are going to launch a blockchain platform to authenticate their diamonds. So, we talked about this, and definitely go check out our video on VE Chain because this is a great example of a use case for VE Chain, but De Beers wants to do their own thing. So, frankly, this is kind of a missed opportunity for VE Chain because this would be perfect for them because their entire platform is trying to ensure authenticity of products by creating barcodes that are scannable by using your phone and then being able to tell where the product came from, who are the previous owners, and this is all done through an integrated blockchain.
Well,
So,
I don't know if they necessarily missed the boat. It is only a pilot program. They could at some point decide that maybe it's easier just to have somebody else do it for them. And if that were to be the case, that would be the biggest news.
yeah,
Like if it was whether it's Walton or VeChain,
yeah.
yeah, it would be epic.
Yeah, it would. And like I've said in previous episodes of the show,
Yeah.
this is a big world. There's a lot of opportunity for many companies to get involved. It might just be that VE Chain doesn't really care about diamonds and they care more about clothing, which seems to be where the focus is right now. But um, Boston Consulting Group is the big company behind the De Beers launch here. And it's great just to see that a big company, diamond company like De Beers is actually taking this seriously and thinks that there's a lot of potential for them to use this for their own business.
Yeah, well, you're going to see it happen more and more as time goes on, I think. There's, yeah, hundreds of companies that have similar products that people will want to know where they're coming from. Even like food products, like if people want to know
Hmm.
where like eggs came from and they can verify that they're free run eggs, like it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, definitely. And different companies, blockchain companies, are going to sort of position themselves as being leaders in certain fields. So definitely VE Chain is focusing or has this focus on clothing lines, but there's no reason why excuse me, they couldn't get into other ones, but other companies might come up that are actually good at produce or something like that. And
Yeah.
produce is certainly important because people care so much about whether or not their food's organic or not. And using blockchain and public ledgers, it would be very easy to incorporate that.
Yeah. I think I'll invest heavily into Whole Foods chain once it gets released.
Oh, really? You mean Amazon?
Amazon Whole Foods chain.
Yeah. Yo, you should just invest in Amazon right now. They hit an all-time high today.
Well, I'll buy the dip, but thanks for the shitty investment advice.
Yo, but all-time high doesn't mean that it's going down. Anyway, this we can get into that another day. But yeah, just to mention, as an aside, equities killing it today. Everybody, get into equities right now. The Dow Jones is going to the moon next week.
All right, let's calm down. How about we all just get back into crypto and we get that back to where it needs to be?
Yeah, actually, I'd be happy with that too. So
Yeah.
one thing actually that's going to bring some money into the crypto space is this Chinese news. So an official from, where is he from? The China's People's University Law School. The vice president said that the country is going to open, remove the ban from ICOs and include some regulation that would allow ICOs to continue indefinitely. So this is great. It seemed like China was really slamming the door shut when it came to ICOs after they did this last year, and hearing this is going to open that back up and definitely going to bring on some new projects that will be very stimulatory to the market, at least in ICOs.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for the Chinese government to kind of intervene with this sort of thing. They and really every government, ICOs are heavily speculative, and if somebody does kind of disappear on if they don't meet their fundraising goal, then there's not really a whole lot of repercussions. It's really essentially a GoFundMe, so it makes it a little bit difficult. So just having kind of somebody to approve or deny whether or not this group of people or this product or this idea, whether or not it's a good idea, might benefit everybody.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. And I think also for the coins that exist already in China, so Neo in particular, I think this could have a big effect on, because as we all know, Neo, and we did a video on this, so please check that out, but Neo is sort of the Ethereum of China, and it could really open the door for Neo adoption when it comes to tokens that they want to release on their network. So I think it's great for that. I hold Neo. I encourage everybody to buy Neo since it's dipped a little bit from its all-time high. And this is good news altogether for crypto, I think.
Yeah, yeah, because it extends even beyond Neo. Like I'm sure Ethereum will benefit from it. Any platform play will really benefit. Just having 2 billion people
Yeah.
to want to deal in this space, which they obviously wanted to do, because once that the ICO stopped, Bitcoin and the entire market fell by 40%. So hopefully we'll see some sort of a bounce back once that policy actually gets passed.
Yeah, hopefully. It would be very nice, because we're really sitting, I don't know, we've been a little stagnant for the last week or so, and some people think it has to do with the futures contract manipulation for Bitcoin anyway, but we'll see in the coming weeks what's going on. I don't really have a good sense of whether or not we need to test some new lows, or we're going to really go to the all-time highs that I was predicting for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's easy to predict all-time highs, and that's all we've seen since we started doing this. But it's good. I think it's all right to have some consolidation, really to scare off some weak hands
Yeah,
and
definitely.
people trying to make some quick dollars. But
Yeah, good buying
yeah,
opportunities too. But so the last thing I thought we should touch on is the Davos meeting. So the World Economic Forum in Davos is going on, and a lot of world-renowned economists are there. And some people had a few negative things to say about Bitcoin, Rob.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they will say that, but it's hard for someone already pretty well established to endorse something that they don't necessarily understand. I think it was Bill Morneau, Canada's finance minister, who said that there's not really any metric to link up the value to Bitcoin itself.
Mm.
So it does make it difficult because really it's just the supply and the current demand at any given time. But
Yeah, and you know, he might not be entirely wrong because until Bitcoin gets more adopted, it's hard to really assess the value, intrinsic value. I mean, yeah, supply and demand sort of shows you what it's worth in a snapshot, but it is really hard to value these coins. But when it comes to these economists coming around, they always like to make these big statements about it. And so Robert Shiller in particular, Nobel Prize winning Robert Shiller, said that either it may be around for 100 years or it might collapse, and it's more likely to collapse. So I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. It's hard to know what's going to happen, and he might be talking specifically about Bitcoin and how Bitcoin might not be the one that survives them all, and there's no reason to say that it would. It definitely has that first mover advantage, but if they're too slow to adopt the Lightning Network or get SegWit, it's very possible that something could overtake them.
well, it's interesting because like I don't know how long the U.S. dollar's been around for, but it's not like exponentially greater than 100 years. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, so I think the U.S. dollar's been around since 1776 when the country was formed, but it may have just been gold.
Yeah, but even then, that's what 300 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah, it's true. So the other thing that I thought was sort of disappointing is that people here were announcing or saying that Bitcoin is used for illicit activity, and I always sort of roll my eyes at that because you know anything can be used for illicit activity in terms of currency. Any currency would be used for it. Like maybe it's easier to use Bitcoin or crypto for illicit activity, but it doesn't excuse how often U.S. dollars are used for illicit activity. So I don't know. It seems like kind of a convenient position to take on a disruptive technology like Bitcoin or crypto.
Well, it's tough because it does obviously Bitcoin has a darker history than most other currencies, but I think you see that with any new form of value. It's typically traded underground first for things that might be a little bit more questionable. But is it any more dangerous than just straight up cash? I don't necessarily think so.
Yeah, I don't either. But this is sort of the narrative that you'll hear from government who wants to keep it underground.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ooh, just checked. The US dollar created in 1785.
Damn.
That'd make it 233 years old.
Wow. It's lasted a while. I wonder how long it took for it to become the like world currency, like the world leading currency.
I assume sometime after World War II.
Yeah, I would think so too. But
Yeah, once the UK gave up like a couple of bitches.
apologize to all our British listeners, Rob.
Yeah, that's my bad. I know we've got some in Ireland. Maybe they care. They probably don't, but
Yeah. Okay. So with that, guys, we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you very much for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Let us know what you think about De Beers. Let us know what you think about the NEM hack, and tell Rob why he's wrong about the British being little bitches.
yeah, don't forget to share on Reddit. Share it on Steam as well. Maybe even share it with our own Steam account
Okay.
and Facebook, Instagram, whatever you got, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever other platforms there are, Musically, anything
Yes.
else.
And comment on YouTube, please. Let us know what you think. And with that, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.